A new report shows that 169 human rights activists were murdered during the five years that far-right President Jair Bolsonaro governed in Brazil. In Recife, our correspondent Brian Meir has more.
Well, President, Jair Bolsonaro and his allies from Big Agro encouraged violence against groups like landless rural workers and indigenous people in Brazil. A new study released this week by the NGOs Justiça Global and Terra de Direitos documents violence against human rights defenders during his presidency, like the case of MST settlement coordinator José Severino in Pernambuco.
In 2019, we occupied land in Jordão, and I was beaten. I was kicked in the face and blacked out for about 5 minutes, and the guy next to me was shot in the head. But thanks God it wasn't a homicide, but we suffered a brutal attempted homicide that we in our settlement in Jordão that day.
The study documents 1,171 cases of violence against human rights defenders, including 169 murders. It accuses Bolsonaro of treating indigenous people and landless rural workers as central enemies to his government. It recommends that President Lula implement the actions defined in his transition team's plan for defending human rights activists and calls for structural reforms to eradicate conditions that lead to violence.
This is an important study which shows the grave conditions suffered by human rights defenders during the last 4 years. It's important that agrarian reform is implemented for family farmers and rural workers to better protect human rights defenders.
Brian Meir, teleSUR, Pernambuco.